This Soonerscoop.com video is streaming in crystal clear 4K resolution on YouTube thanks to Enjoy Vision in Oklahoma City. From the big plays to life's everyday moments, see it all in sharp focus with LASIK at Enjoy Vision. Enjoy Vision. This is where Sooner Scoop LASIK.
Hello and welcome back to another William and Lauren practice report. Talked to Ben Arbuckle on Tuesday. Obviously talked to Brent Venables as well, as per usual on a Tuesday ahead of the Auburn game, a massive game coming up this weekend. I know that it started off kind of weird too because it had a big power outage over at the stadium today. Not really sure what happened.
Inside job.
It went out for like 20 minutes. Yeah, to maybe start wondering if it had been an inside job with all those running around. You know what I mean? All right, here we go. Ben Arbuckle, though. Offensively, it's been good. Keontez Lewis, we should say, to start the night. Maybe a little bit more hope that he could be available after Saturday and the concussion there in the first half.
Yeah, I think Brent said on his coach's show on Monday night that they're hopeful he could play this week. So we'll see. I know that he was asking, trainers and coaches to get back in the game on Saturday. I think it was one of those things that's like, man, you just took a pretty good shot. Sure. We got to put you in protocol. And so we'll see if he can pass that this week. It's sometimes tough to do that in a week's time.
Right.
Sometimes it takes a few days for that to happen. So we'll have to see as the week progresses. But I know OU feels good about some of the other guys they got.
We talked about the offensive line, injuries and playing through some things, especially some of the high ankle sprains that some of these guys have in the Brent Venables breakdown. But we should also say, come Wednesday night, Oklahoma will provide the first availability report going into the first conference game of the year.
Yeah, that usually comes out around 7 p.m. Central Time. So stay on Soonerscoop.com. I'll have a story up on it as soon as it's released.
Plenty of items to get into with Ben Arbuckle as well as Jovantae, who we talked to after practice on Monday night ahead of the Auburn matchup. But first, let us tell you about our good friends over at Poncho Outdoors. All you got to do is go to ponchooutdoors.com/Soonerscoop for $10 off your first order. That's PONCHO outdoors.com/Soonerscoop for $10 off and free shipping. Soft right out of the box, right amount of built-in stretch, lightweight, breathes incredibly well. I can attest to that. I have a number of poncho items in the closet right now. The hidden zipper pocket for your phone, 2 fits, regular and slim, UPF 50 sun protection, free shipping and returns and exchange. All you got to do is go to ponchooutdoors.com/Soonerscoop for $10 off your first order. Thank you to our good friends over at Ponchos. And as we talked about, Keontez Lewis, certainly, there's some, doubt going into Saturday if he's going to be available. But after hearing from Ben Arbuckle on Tuesday, it certainly sounds like they feel pretty good about the depth at the wide receiver position. Now, obviously, getting Isaiah Sategna, some of those guys going here as of late.
Yeah, Sategna and Burks really have been focal points in the offense. Both guys have kind of traded off in terms of who has a big game, and then the next guy has a big game. So you obviously know that those two are going to be factored in, but that third guy, if Lewis is out, a Zion Kearney, a name that we heard a ton during fall camp before he got hurt, he's back in the fold. He had 2 catches against Temple. I think that he could play quite a bit. Ivan Carrion, another name we heard a lot in fall camp. We've seen him out on the field, almost had a really nice one-handed grab this past week in Philadelphia. So I think those two, I think Jermichael Carter, we could see out on the field. I don't think Javonnie Gibson will be back this week. I still think it's going to be Kent State for him. But maybe an Elijah Thomas could make an appearance. We saw him kind of for the first time at wide receiver at Temple. So they've got a mix of guys that I think they trust. And I would assume Zion and Ivan kind of lead that group.
Let's start here with Ben Arbuckle talking about the trust with his wide receiver unit.
Yeah, I trust our receiver room. I think Zion Kearney has, shown that he can go in the game and make an impact. Ivan Carrion, just like throughout all fall camp, was maybe the most consistent guy out there. So, with or without Keontez, I feel great about our receiver room as a whole.
George, you mentioned it. I think for the first time on Saturday, they really got Isaiah Sategna involved. Obviously, some of the slip screen stuff, just getting the ball in his hands feels like a pretty good option for Jovantae, as well as Zion Kearney. Welcome to the 2025. Had a nice day on Saturday, as well as that Ivan Carrion. You'll see the clip here in a second. That was close to being a spectacular grab.
Yeah, I think all three of those guys are going to be a big part of the game plan this coming week, and they all kind of bring something different. Obviously, Sategna and his speed elusiveness. I think Zion Kearney's a really good route runner, can just get open, really good hands. And Ivan Carrion, obviously his height. He's a guy that can go up and make some competitive catches. So all three kind of bring something different. Obviously, you're going to have Deion Burks. They're going to try and get him the ball in space as well. But I like that wide receiver room. And as much as you want Keontez Lewis out there, and it is kind of a blow if he can't play because I think he's very sure-handed, I do think that they've got some good bodies in that room that can help them.
Here is Oklahoma quarterback Jovantae as well as Ben Arbuckle, just talking about that entire wide receiver room, and especially Isaiah Sategna, Zion Kearney, and Ivan Carrion.
How much did it help, getting guys like Sategna involved more in the offense and even Zion Kearney a little bit? It seems like you guys are building that unit game by game.
There's a lot of depth that we have, and a lot of people that can really go on this team, and just getting them all involved creates the depth for defenses to prepare for. So I'm really proud of him. I mean, I knew they were both ready. They do everything they need to do, and it's no surprise to me, but getting them going is really exciting.
Favorite thing with Zion is just seeing the confidence that he's been building. You think about his last, 3 catches. One of them was like a 50-yard touchdown against Navy, and then the last 2 were 2 catches for, 34 yards or whatever, 2 explosive passes. So, I went up to him and said, dang, dude, 3 catches, 3 explosives, like, you should be feeling pretty good, dude, because he's put himself in that position to feel good about it. Now, he's got to continue to put in the work and trust the process with it, but the biggest growth that I've seen with him is just his confidence, because he's strong, he's fast, he has big hands, like runs great routes, he's smooth, and as long as he goes out on the field confident, knowing that he's a good ball player, then I think good things happen. And Ivan, again, I just speak to his consistency. I mean, a lot like Jovantae, that dude's a great teammate. Where he's supposed to be, when he's supposed to be there, physical when he needs to block, can make a tough catch, just a great teammate who's ultra consistent, and consistency leads to trust in everyone in the building. So I'm really proud of those 2 guys. They've been awesome, and I can't wait to see them continue to develop.
You kind of mentioned it there, George, too, before we threw through that clip. Don't forget about Deion Burks. Even though he wasn't a big part of the game plan on Saturday, certainly seems like as Oklahoma gets into conference play, he's going to be that number 1 guy for Jovantae.
Yeah, in one area, if you watch Auburn on tape, is the secondary has struggled at times, and especially at that nickelback spot. That's a spot that Baylor really attacked in that first game, and I would assume Oklahoma will do the same, and Deion Burks might have some mismatches there in the slot, so I think he could have a big game on Saturday.
Let's stay right there, because the middle of the field has been something that Jovantae has attacked early, often, and a lot. And we looked up the numbers because it was something that Ben Arbuckle had been asked on Tuesday about Jovantae in the middle of the field. And this kind of goes back to Brent Venables talking about it on the coaches show on Monday night, talking about there's a lot of money to be made in the middle of the field, and it certainly seems to be the case for Jovantae.
Yeah, he's I have the stats in front of me. He's thrown 105 passes this year. 70 of them have been over the middle or between the numbers. So that's a lot, and he's completed 49 of those 70 passes, which is a really good percentage. He's thrown 4 of his 5 touchdowns over the middle of the field. So it's an area that he likes to go to. It's obviously an area that Ben Arbuckle likes to call plays to, and I think that they feel like they can find something there. And it's interesting because last year we didn't see that a whole lot.
Sure.
Oklahoma wasn't throwing over the middle of the field. I mean, one, they weren't throwing a whole lot very well anywhere, but especially over the middle of the field. So I think that Oklahoma feels like they are comfortable there. Obviously, Mateer is comfortable throwing the ball over the middle of the field, and he's had tremendous success so far this year doing it.
Here is Ben Arbuckle talking about Mateer and the Oklahoma offense taking some advantages over the middle of the field.
I heard Brent mention on his studio show on Sunday that defenses are oftentimes susceptible over the middle of the field, and when you look at what John's done last year as a starter and then this year, a lot of his production is between the numbers. What is it about him that's just made him so effective in that area of the field?
Sometimes it's just what the defense gives you, what you see in a game plan. I don't think we ever just go into the game saying we're going to just attack the middle of the field. We like to attack all aspects of the field, but sometimes it's just what they give you. Sometimes the play takes him there. But he does a great job keeping his eyes downfield, getting off his reads whenever he needs to, and delivering the ball in moments and places where he needs to. So, but I think a lot of times it's just flow of the game, what the defense is giving you. You try and take, whether it's the middle of the field, outside, out in the flats, whatever it is, you just try and take those areas.
George, that was something that Josh McCutcheon had mentioned during the Game Day Rewind when talking about the Temple game, obviously, but kind of looking ahead to Auburn, was the fact that if you go back to that opener for Auburn and Michael Trigg, the Baylor tight end, you would think that maybe Jaren Kanak is going to have you would probably predict that he could have the possibility of having a big day on Saturday over the middle of the field.
Yeah, and he's just kind of a mismatch. I think that he's one of those guys where it's like, well, you could put a linebacker on him, but his speed is different, and you could put a corner on him, but his size. I mean, he's not the biggest guy, but he's super physical. And then I think just his awareness of space on the field, that's something that's really stood out. When Mateer's scrambling, he's looking for Kanak because Kanak is finding the open space. I think that is certainly something that you could see on Saturday.
We talked about it on Tuesday as well with Brent Venables about the offensive line situation, and Ben Arbuckle had some comments on it. You can check out the breakdown from Brent Venables' press conference here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel in the practice report, but I almost choked, and that would have been really bad. You almost lost me. You would have had to finish that. If I ever die on this set, I want you to finish the show.
I could do the Heimlich.
Don't do that. I didn't say resuscitate. I just said continue doing the show. But talking about offensive line play, they have been extremely good in pass pro through the first 3 games of the season. Probably going to see, just like the Michigan game, another really strong test up front.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good defensive front for Auburn. Obviously, Folk is kind of their guy that on the edge. I do think their other, and I'm blanking on his name, their other defensive end is actually questionable, I think, this week.
Be another name to watch for on the Auburn side of things when that availability report comes out.
Yeah, so that's interesting. They've got some really good defensive tackles up front, but this is going to be a big test for this offensive line, and hopefully you got Michael Fasusi back. We saw him with the boot on at Temple. It feels like he's going to play. I know Brent's kind of hinted at that. We saw him running around in the boot, so you hope to get him back. But if not, you have Logan Howland ready to go, and you've got some veteran pieces. It's just going to be interesting with Fabechi's situation at right guard. Obviously, Troy Everett's out at center. It's going to be Jake Michaela, but how healthy is he? It's just one of those things, Eddie. It feels like the offensive line is a story every single week, and certainly this week and every week in the SEC, they're going to have to play well.
You just got to find a way to almost survive on Saturday and get through it. Here is Ben Arbuckle as well as John Mateer talking offensive line play for Oklahoma.
I'm super impressed with them. I mean, they've only let up 3 sacks, and I think all 3 of them are my fault, in my opinion. And so, I mean, they're doing a great job, and they're a unit. They're together, and they love each other, and that's what you need.
Yeah, I mean, the same way that he does in practice whenever he plays. He's laser focused, really diligent kid, really understands the process of learning, whether it's active reps or mental reps, doesn't really let anything distract him. And so he's been great with it, great with the mental reps, and sometimes mental reps are the best reps you can get, like seeing, okay, this is how not to do it, or that's exactly how to do it. He's been laser focused with it, just like he is with everything else. So Mike's been great.
John, talk about a guy like Logan Howland, obviously coming in last game for Susie. What do you think of his play?
I mean, he's always gonna play his hardest, and he's gonna do what you need him to do. I mean, he came in at the end of the game against Michigan, and plug and play. He can play anywhere, and he does a great job. Coach B's pretty hard on him, just like everybody else, but he does a great job.
Certainly incredible. And you think about Michael Fasusi's situation, that his second game now will be against another top 25 opponent in Auburn if he's able to play on Saturday. Another true freshman that's been making noise and certainly has earned the right to be RB1 for Oklahoma, Tory Blaylock.
Yeah, he's been awesome. We've talked about him, I feel like, on every single show. I joked with Mateer last night. We ask you every single week about Tory Blaylock, but he's just been fantastic. The new depth chart came out today, and Tory was listed as the #1 running back. There's no or there. It's not Jovantae Barnes or Tory Blaylock. It's Tory Blaylock, and I think he's earned that. He's very clearly been their best running back through the first 3 games, and he's battling through an injury with his shoulder, and he's still playing well. So I think we're going to see a lot of Tory Blaylock, not only on Saturday, but the rest of the season for OU.
Another kind of incredible story when talking about Tory Blaylock, to know what he is playing through and still kind of putting his nuts on the line every weekend here. That's one way to earn respect from your teammates. Here is John Mateer, as well as Ben Arbuckle, and also Jovantae Barnes talking about the true freshman running back.
feel like we've asked you about Tory Blaylock every single week, but what's been so impressive about him through 3 weeks, especially as a true freshman?
I'd say his maturity, and he doesn't flinch at all, like does not flinch. And anything we throw at him, he's going to do it with the best of his ability. And I mean, he's surprised everybody. Not that we didn't think he would be this, but he's really good, as everybody knows. And so super good to have him. I mean, his physicality, he sets the tone, and that's what we need.
Do you feel like he's getting more and more comfortable every single week?
I mean, it looked like he was comfortable week 1. I mean, like, we're all getting more comfortable playing with each other, and he's doing a great job.
Shown up every day, been ultra consistent, done what's asked of him, have an unbelievable mindset, had a white belt mindset, in karate terms, always trying to learn and build upon what he's learned. He's been awesome in that regard, as has the entire running back room. But, Tory's just done a great job being consistent and running hard, making the plays, being assignment sound in his protection. So, proud of Tory.
I've been seeing that since spring ball when he first came in and took him under my wing. And I just always loved his confidence and his attitude. Coming into the facility, always bringing energy, lifting everybody up, and always had a smile on his face. So I'm proud of where he's at right now and happy for his future.
Did anything surprise you about him when he came in as a true freshman to pick up things as quick as he has?
Yeah, it's just natural leader, and a natural competitor. Loves to compete. I mean, if anybody's seen him, he'll kind of shock you and wow you. But it looked like he was a vet already when he came in, and obviously you guys are seeing it now, so pretty good.
Jovantae Barnes talking about Tory Blaylock. Let's stay there, though, and talk about Jovantae Barnes. How about that? He's been exceptional in pass blocking, those types of things that I think a lot of people, they want to see him pile up 250 yards. Certainly just don't think that's going to be the case for Jovantae, but he is going to play a role in this Oklahoma backfield.
Yeah, they trust him. I think that's the biggest thing is they trust him to do the right stuff. Now, is he going to be elusive and make guys miss all the time? Probably not, but I think he's a serviceable player. And one area that he's really shown that he can play for you is as a lead blocker. And a lot of times when they do this QB run stuff or some of the sweeps to the edge, like him as your lead blocker is not a bad thing. He's very physical. He's a big guy. He knows how to block well. The reason he's in the game a lot is to pass protect as well. So, and he's been very good at that. So I think that Jovantae has an important role on this team, and I think Oklahoma is very thankful that he's somebody that has stuck it out and stayed all 4 years. It's very rare in today's college football world, and I think he's also just been a very good veteran presence in a running back room that's really got either young guys in Tory Blaylock and Xavier Robinson, Taylor Tatum, two guys that are just in their second year, or new guys like a Jaden Ott.
Certainly one of those guys when we talk about that leadership core within the Oklahoma unit. Talked about that a lot last week as they headed up for their first road trip. I think Jovantae Barnes is kind of included in that group, whether it be Jaren Kanak, Kobe McKenzie, guys that have kind of stuck it out. Part of the culture in Norman. Here is a little bit more on Jovantae Barnes, really kind of paying attention to some of the little things in the game of football.
Yeah, I mean, Jovantae's, he is selfless, man. I think there's been 3 touchdowns this year, at least 2, where he's been the lead block and someone's scraping over the top really hard, running full speed, and he just throws their shoulder off into him and doesn't get knocked back, and honestly kind of knocks them back and springs someone open for a touchdown. It's stuff like that, guys, that shows how much you love your teammates. And Jovantae loves his teammates. He loves that locker room. And the deal about running back, everyone always talks about carrying the ball. There's a lot of dirty work that goes into playing running back. Almost like a tight end. Sometimes you're a glorified offensive lineman, and you doing your job in that moment can be the difference between a first down or an explosive play or, not taking a negative play. Just doing your job in that moment, and Jovantae exemplifies doing your job in the moments. And great teammate, hard worker, physical as can be. So, he's a great teammate. Honestly, the standard of what kind of a great teammate looks like. So Jovantae's a stud.
I've been doing that since Little League. I always loved contact, and I played defense in Little League, so contact was a huge thing for me. I always loved hitting somebody. So pass block, obviously I want to keep the quarterback clean, and I want to keep my receivers healthy and stuff like that. So whenever I have the chance to go in there and lock in and do my job, I take that as a big responsibility, and I love to do it only because I feel like I mean, you should be able to run the ball, but also can you block? And I think that's a huge part of running back that sometimes gets swept under the rug, but it's just pretty fun to me.
Jovantae Barnes talking about blocking. Certainly, we can see that, Jovantae. You do like contact quite a bit, actually. All right, that's going to do it for Ben Arbuckle. You can watch that just like the Brent Venables press conference from Tuesday. You can watch that here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel, and that kind of sets the stage for the rest of the week. Obviously, have the unofficial 40 here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel, as well as all your podcasting listening devices, as well as a story coming up on Wednesday morning about Jackson Arnold and his return to Norman that we talked about on the Brent Venables breakdown, whatever you would call it, practice report. How about that?
Yeah, I got to talk to Jackson's dad kind of about their feelings coming back to Norman. Obviously, they still have a lot of love for OU, but also just kind of diving into the behind the scenes of how this all went down. Obviously, Oklahoma's perspective as well, and going to get John Mateer, some interesting stuff on that as well. So definitely worth a read for $1 on SoonerScoop.com.
Good time to join SoonerScoop.com. You can do so for just $1, and we will be here throughout the rest of the week providing plenty of content and coverage, maybe a couple surprise visitors, as well as Oklahoma and Auburn get ready for a 2:30 kickoff on Saturday afternoon, just down the street from here on Campus Quarter. For George Stoya, I'm Eddie Radosevich. We'll see you back here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel.